Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What up? What up? What up? What's going on, good people? It's Tuesday night, Pro Fan Talk. First Tuesday after football has ended. And we are all doing good. Parade is over with. Still feeling the high. Now we're dealing with the news cycle, the aftermath, and all of that kind of good stuff. What's going on, Cody K? What's up, Carlos? Cody K was first out the limo. I appreciate you as always. A lot of stuff going on, man. Hope you guys had a chance to check out my video today about, the hate. They still hating on us. They still hating on us. They still trying to throw it out there. It ain't nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing. Everybody's still doing the same stuff. Everybody got a reason. Everybody got an excuse, but it's all good. Like I said earlier, our rings still shine the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It is all good. I'm trying to get this. There we go. Can I? Oh, it won't let me do it. That's all right. You get the idea. Mr. Chris Sims up there. So that was one of the topics of the video I released today. I just found this video today. I went back and looked 2 years ago. This was a video that I made, and I was just commenting on, even way back then, everybody had something to say about what we would or wouldn't do, even 3 years ago. So it ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing new. What's up, Quentin? Hate is a hell of a drug. Facts. But it's expected. It's expected at this point. Why would I expect anything different? Everybody got excuses. I mentioned in the video, and I actually show a clip of it. When we beat, I guess 3 years ago now, when we beat the 49ers and we knocked Purdy out of the game, and they were salty about it. Everybody had something to say. Everybody was talking shit. Like Amon-Ra. Debo was talking shit. Everybody was talking shit about what would have happened if Purdy would have stayed in the game. But, Hassan Reddick had that tackle and all that type of stuff, right? But I remember specifically, Brandon Ayuk was on somebody's podcast, and I understood his point, saying he was basically saying the same thing if we would have had everybody. But, he was going through the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and I understand that, especially when you take an L like that. But how he ended it was, I ain't got a right to talk about nobody because I'm at home on the couch watching them. And I was like, you know what? I can respect that, Brandon Ayuk. I can respect that because I understand the feeling you're going through. I can understand the loss and the pain that you have. And it is your opinion that you thought you had the better team. Okay, that's what you're supposed to think. But to just acknowledge the fact that, hey, I'm watching at home on the couch. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I just thought that was respect to him. You know what I mean? And there was a couple other ones. I tried to find another one. There was a guy I saw today. I'd never seen his content before. I believe it came through on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. But he was a Chiefs fan. He was in his man cave, had his jersey on, and literally he said, "I'm not a spoiled loser or nothing like that, and I just want to say that the Eagles kicked our ass." And basically, he went on to this 3-minute rant about how the Eagles just destroyed the Chiefs, and it was what it was. And I was like, you know what? At least some people can do that, and it's um, more people doing it. But what you hear the most is what the narrative they're going with the national media, or the, how bad did the is the Chiefs dynasty over? Um, Still trying to decide if Jalen Hurts is a elite quarterback, and all of those questions they throw out. And you know what? I go back to what I've said. You can look at some of the shows between me and Tone, and I've always said this. If you ask me who the top quarterback is, or if you ask me to list my top 5 quarterbacks, my answer is yes. Whatever you come up with, go for it. I don't care. And that's the attitude I've taken for the past 2.5 seasons, almost 3 years going on. Because and I say it like that because whatever you come up with, whoever you put at your number one, I don't give a damn if it's Geno Smith or if it's Trevor Lawrence. I don't care. Whoever you think is number one, yes, that's the answer. Go for it. Because what I've realized is, and I realized this very shortly after we got Jalen Hurts, and he was the starter after the whole situation with Carson Wentz. They are never going to give Jalen Hurts his just due. They're never going to do that. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that people don't like. There's always going to be an issue. There's guys that throw the ball better than him and all of that type of stuff. They're never just going to put it up there and leave it alone. They can do that with Mahomes. They can do that with Josh Allen. They can do that with Joey Burrow. They can do that with Matt Stafford. They can do that with Jared Goff. They can do that with all of those players, all of those other quarterbacks. They just simply won't do it with Jalen Hurts because he don't throw the ball far enough. He doesn't get the ball out of his hands quick enough every time. He runs too much. They got the tush push. They got all of these excuses, but the one that matters, the wins. All them other excuses are irrelevant, but they continuously bring them up because they don't want to look. They don't want it to look like their traditional quarterback and all the isms that come with that is the best in the league right now. They just can't accept it that a running quarterback won the Super Bowl. And quiet as kept, not even the best running quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the best running quarterback because Lamar Jackson is 2 inches taller than Jalen Hurts, has a better arm than Jalen Hurts, and is faster than Jalen Hurts. Jaden Daniels is a close second. He's faster, he's taller. I don't think he's bigger. And I don't think he's as good a quarterback. But that's my opinion. And the only reason my opinion matters so much is because my opinion just won the Super Bowl. I said this, I believe it was Jalen's, the first year Jalen started, right? Because everybody was still on the Trevor Lawrence bandwagon. You see how that turned out. And I said, if Trevor Lawrence had Jalen Hurts stats, Trevor Lawrence would have been a first team All-Pro. First team Pro Bowler. Guarantee you, if Trevor Lawrence would have had Jalen Hurts' stats for, I want to say 2021, Trevor Lawrence would have been in the Pro Bowl easily. But because Jalen Hurts is who he is and because he looks how he looks and he does what he does, they won't give it to him. They won't give it to him. If you want to go back far enough, look at what Russell Wilson had to go through. When he became quarterback, he was too small, he ran too much, and then the only thing he started doing was dropping them dimes and throwing the ball up in the air. And then they had to give him, and then he got to the Super Bowl and should have won 2 of them. So I don't. Well, I won't. I'm not. I gotta condition myself to stop saying that. To stop saying I don't know what people are looking for. I do know what people are looking for. And let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. They looking for that super tall quarterback with the golden arm. They want him to throw for 3. They want to be able to throw the ball a country mile, and they want him to be 6'4", 6'5", and to be able to run like Josh Allen, and all of that stuff, and to be able to make plays and pull stuff out of his behind like Patrick Mahomes. But ultimately, what they want is that 6'4" dude. They want that 6'4" white dude with the golden. They want Matthew Stafford. That's what they want. But they can't have it because the Matthew Staffords ain't getting it done. He got it done once. And you know what? He had the same attributes that everybody else had. He had a good defense. He had a pretty good running back. And he was a good quarterback. Except they just threw the ball more because he was that type of quarterback. Now, fast forward to us, and we get a team where we got a quarterback that can throw the ball. But you go back and you look at what else he can do, running the ball, getting himself out of trouble, moving the chains. And all of a sudden, that's not good enough. And everybody bitches and moans about it not being good enough because he's never going to win a Super Bowl playing like that. He's never going to win it. He's the weak link on the team. All of that crap we heard, man. All of that crap we heard. That's why I pulled out them stats. That's why I pulled out them stats that said there was 45,000 passing yards that was sitting at home watching the Super Bowl. All of them great quarterbacks with them great arms and all of that great being able to get the ball out of your hands and throw somebody open and dissect the defense and that and all of that bullshit. All of those guys were at home, but they never want to admit that Jalen can do that same stuff. And not to mention all of those guys that throw for all of them yards. People want to act like they don't read the coverage wrong. They don't throw interceptions. They don't pick up the blitz in time. They want to act like Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback where that happens, and that's bullshit. And I was so glad that he got the MVP of the Super Bowl, and then they was like, should Jalen Hurts have gotten the MVP? I could have thought of 4 other people that should have got. Man, shut up. He threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for another one. What do you want? So they're going to keep coming up with stuff, man. It is what it is. They're going to keep coming up with stuff. And let them keep coming, man. And while they're coming, we just going to pull out our rag and we just going to shine the ring. That's all we going to do. We got 2 trophies now. We got 2 trophies now. And all them people that didn't have Jalen Hurts on their bingo card, and all you do is watch him win, and all you do is find a way to win. And you know what? He got to be able to pick up a blitz. He got to be able to read the defense. He got to be able to make the checks at the line. All of the stuff that he's been doing all year. And then again, yes, he had bad games. The criticism during those bad games was legit. But how come wasn't nobody criticizing Matthew Stafford for his bad games? Or how come didn't nobody criticize Josh Allen when he threw for 120? Or when Patrick Mahomes threw for 150? Or you didn't hear nothing about that. All you heard was he found a way to win. But our QB don't get that same type of love. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. So people, they looking for whatever it is they looking for, and they're not going to be happy until they find it. What's up, Carlos? Coach, heard that they will be add streaming to the TV deals now, which means the salary cap can jump up to 270, 275. Yeah, the salary cap is going to jump up again. And it's going to continue to go up every year because more streaming avenues open up, and they're just trying to do different things. So the money's going to keep going up. So yep. More money to work with. It works for us. Taco Tuesday. I didn't have no tacos, but I did have a barbecue chicken pizza. So I'm good with that. Cody K, hit that like button. Yep. Appreciate that. Everybody hit that like button. By the way, I got my hat in. Got my championship hat. And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't crazy about it. I don't like this. I ain't never been a fan of like the rope in the front, but I was hyped like everybody else and got online right after the game and ordered mine. I do like the shield in the back and the logo on the side. So I'm sure I'm gonna come across some other ones pretty soon. You see me rocking my shirt. So got me one, got the wife one. But it's all good. If I were Jalen, I'd get a diamond encrusted Lombardi trophy chain. He probably you might see that. You might see that. Let me see. There's an interview with Fred Warner that just came out, and he's hurting, having to give Jalen his props and admit he was wrong. Yeah, it's like they gotta pull teeth. It's like they. You know what? I didn't think about this until this very second. To me, and I'm saying this because of the content that I create, Jalen Hurts and Caitlin Clark, they treat them the same way. It's like pulling teeth to give Jalen Hurts a compliment just to say he was that good and we were all wrong. The same shit happened with Caitlin Clark. It was killing people to just give the compliment to say, yep, she was as good as everybody thought she was. She struggled in the beginning because she ain't had no legs because she went to the national championship game. And then they had that Olympic break and she had her legs back. In the second half of the season, she lit it up. And it was like pulling teeth for some of them WNBA vets to just give her props and just say she was good. And everything else came with that. And it's like, damn, why is it like that? I don't get it. Everybody want to be right, period. Nobody want to be wrong. Nobody want to have a conversation. Nobody want to, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to discuss it. It's my way or the highway. And, all of that, it's funny. All of that type of attitude, if you old enough to remember, that all of that came when Jordan came in the league. I'll never forget. I can't remember what year this is. This had to be 1997. It was the Bulls, and I believe it was the Bulls in Utah in the finals. I was in Canada. I was in the CFL at the time with the Ticats. And we was somewhere watching the finals. And I remember saying, like, I want to see Karl Malone and John Stockton win a title. And you would have thought I cursed out somebody's mother. The way them dudes turned around and looked at me like with disdain and disgust. Like, you pulling for somebody other than Jordan? I remember that specifically. And I remember it was a couple guys specifically that looked at me like with disgust. Like, how could you root for anybody but Michael Jordan? It was like, I want to see somebody else win. I know Jordan is good. I know Stockton and Malone are good. But they couldn't get it done. But I'm saying that because that's when it comes to Jalen Hurts, that's the attitude people have. If you gotta give them a compliment, they do it with disgust. They do it with disdain. There's a but. Yeah, Jalen, y'all winning, but if you didn't have Saquon Barkley, yeah, you're winning, but if you didn't have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, yeah, you're winning, but if your defense wasn't as good, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how come they didn't say that shit to the 49ers when they had the bomb defense? and the defensive player of the year, and Fred Warner, and Debo Samuels, and CMC, who was the best running back at the time. How come they didn't say that then? Purdy was just a game manager. Jalen Hurts couldn't get that. The only person that called him a game manager was Cam Newton. And Cam Newton had to renege on that comment. What Eminem say? They forgot about Dre. Jalen Hurts is elite. I don't even like using that word no more because nobody knows what elites means. Nobody understands what that means. I don't, and I guess I've shifted my way of thinking because that's great that Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and it's great they can throw the ball a country mile. But it has not gotten them to where they want to go. I believe, it is my opinion, that if Lamar Jackson had run the ball like we know he can run the ball, they would have beat Buffalo. They would have beaten Buffalo. He threw it, could have tied the game, tight end dropped the ball. That's really not on him. But they should have ran all over Buffalo. I don't know. Matter of fact, the previous year, he said exactly that. He said that when he played us. I should have ran the ball more. Why didn't you? They sitting back there, got to throw the ball everywhere. Got to throw the ball everywhere. They're not getting it done. And they cost him again. So now he got to go through this whole offseason. And you know what? He might have another MVP year next year. He should have won the MVP 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row. Did Josh Allen really outplay him, or did the tight end just drop the ball? Did they just waste that opportunity, that last opportunity? You can look at it either way. I know what it's going to say in the history books, but yeah, it is what it is. Chris Sims, the guy who couldn't remember plays and had John Gruden pissed off. That Chris Sims, yeah, man, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. He been down on Jalen Hurts since he came in the league, man. And I'm very careful because what I don't like to see is people. I don't like his takes. His takes have nothing to do with how good he was as a player. And I will tell anybody that's not fair. So I always say, take that off the table. I just think he has bad takes. It has nothing to do with what kind of quarterback he was in the league because he shouldn't have been there. There were a ton of guys better than him. There was a ton of guys better than him in college. There was a ton of, but it ain't what you know is who you know. He's the legacy. He's going to get that long leash. You know, he made his, you know, he was a backup, but look at some of the best people. You look at Mark Sanchez is a great analyst, but he had the career that he had. Then you look at Dan Orlovsky. Need we say more? Because every time you look at you talk about Dan Orlovsky, everybody gonna bring up the tape when he ran out the back of the end zone. Everybody brings that up because Dan Orlovsky was not good as a starter in the league. Then you look at, and I will tell anybody this: if you want to watch a good breakdown of tape from a former player, you go watch JT O'Sullivan. JT O'Sullivan was a career backup. I think he may have started 6 games in his career or something like that. He was not a starter. He was a career backup. What do you think backups do all day? They don't play. They got to know the offense inside and out. Why do you think backups end up being offensive coordinators and end up being head coaches? Because they be the ones with their hat on, with the headset on, and they figure out how their offensive coordinator calling the plays. How's the head coach calling the plays? They learn it on the job all the time. Backups and third string QBs, they end up being the best coaches because all they do is sit in the game with the headset on and you listening to it. And you got to be able to look out there and recognize the defense. Those skills still remain the same. And they watch more tape than anybody else. So I'm very careful not to attribute someone's career success with their ability to analyze a game or analyze tape, because I'm in that category. I made it to league. I was in the league. I had a cup of coffee in the league, but it was my cup of coffee, and I'm still in the top 1% of my class. But just because I didn't have a Hall of Fame career doesn't mean I can't study film and not be good at what I say and analysis, and I can offer fair analysis. Because if you didn't have a great career in the NFL, that's low hanging fruit. What did you do in the league? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. The hell I don't. When you got all of these coaches that never played. So that argument's out the door. So, but Sims got that punch you in the mouth face anyways. So uh his takes tend to get on your nerves. And some of his logic just doesn't make sense. And that's somebody where I look at, and this is the trend that a lot of these guys are on now, because they're in the media now, so they're on these shows, and I'm telling you, these people that are on these shows, they do not have time to watch tape. They might watch highlights of a game when they're talking about a specific game, but they do not have time to watch tape. I give like Acho and Dan Orlovsky, I give them credit because they make a point to bring up some stuff and break down film. I like Acho film the TV and break it down on the television. Dan Orlovsky does the same. I'm still trying to figure out how to get in touch with the people that do the virtual reality stuff because I'm real interested in that. But he breaks down tape. He breaks down tape. And he breaks it down right. Now, even when he does that, you got your opinion and you can insert it, but at least it's coming from your analysis of what you saw on film. The big guy in the sky don't lie. Watching tape. JT O'Sullivan, Dan Orlovsky, Brian Baldinger, and number one, before anybody else, is Greg Cosell. You want to learn football and learn how to watch tape? You ain't even got to go with them last two. Greg Cosell, Brian Baldinger. You watch Baldy stuff and you watch Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell will have your head spinning. So those guys do not watch tape. And everybody's trying to give hot takes because what is the currency now? The currency is the clicks. And you can get just as many clicks. This is why Chris Sims is so popular, because it is my opinion, and I'm saying this because I'm in YouTube and I know how the algorithm works and I understand what it takes to get viewership. It's not your subscriber base, it's your viewership. And every time Chris Sims says something stupid, his web traffic goes through the roof because everybody wants to hate on him. Everybody wants to tell him he's wrong. And the algorithm doesn't give a damn if they're telling you you're right or you're wrong. All it does is track the traffic. And he probably gets twice as much traffic when he says something that's inflammatory about Jalen Hurts, about somebody in New York, about somebody in LA. The biggest markets are going to get the biggest response. So he's not stupid, because some of the stuff he says, you got to look at it and it's like, you cannot come from a football background and your dad being who he is, and you can't honestly believe that bullshit you say. And he'll jump on with Mike Florio and all of that type of stuff. And it's like, dude, you saying shit just to say it, you trolling, basically. So it's funny because they don't watch all the tape. Colin Cowherd is another one. And I like Colin Cowherd. I like his content. I've been listening to Cowherd for a very long time. And I like his content. But what Cowherd does, and he's been doing it for a long time, Cowherd will rip you. Cowherd will rip you and make it sound like it's common sense stuff. But what he does is he'll say 98% negative shit and say one thing, one may give you one positive comment, and then if you turn around and win a game or do something good, he'll go back to that one positive comment and make it seem like he said that the whole time. He thought that the whole time. Well, I said way back when, and they pull that little 10-second clip and make it look like he's been on the bandwagon the whole time. And it's like, come on, son. Come on. So, um, you know, Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. Jalen Hurts is the number 1 quarterback because he won the Super Bowl. You get that title. Shit. Until he lose. And then it's going to be the same thing next year. Here's where Jalen Hurts is, and this is why we're so good right now. Because Jalen Hurts understands who he is. And even though it took the whole year, everybody else finally understands what they have. From A.J. Brown on down. They know when they got to work on different things. But when you got that workhorse back there at number 26, that changes everything. That changes everything. And you go back and you look at all the times that A.J. Brown may have been upset, and rightfully so. Let me say that, rightfully so, because Jalen Hurts didn't have the best games all the time. So I understand that. But don't think for a minute A.J. Brown would trade getting those catches for that win we just took. For getting that Super Bowl victory. He ain't going to trade that. So, and I'm saying that to say, if they don't understand it now, then they need to be up out of here, because everybody understands what they have in Jalen Hurts. Everybody understands what he's willing to do. And now AJ, Devontae, Saquon, everybody's on board and everybody's facing the same direction. Not like they weren't before, but now everybody's locked in. Because before the damn confetti even hit the field, before the celebration on the field was even over, they was already thinking about what they was going to do next, not dwelling in it. And then you can look at all of the interviews with Jalen's father. Like, yep, that's where you get it from. I will take all of them dry ass speeches, all them dry ass quotes, all of that stuff. You know why? Because Jalen Hurts has been the most consistent personality in that locker room. Jalen Hurts has not changed. He's giving them same cryptic ass, dry ass quotes. And you know what? Keep moving. Keep working with it. The one thing we do not want is a fake captain. The leader of your team cannot be fake. And we got what we got. Carlos, I heard that. And guess what? He can take it. Take him. I ain't mad at, I'm from Cincinnati, so I like Joey Burrow. He from home. He a hometown kid. He from right there in Cincinnati. So I like Joe Burrow. But as good as Joe Burrow was or is, Joe Burrow couldn't get over the hump. Once again, all of them passing yards, all of that quarterback acumen, all of that. And Jalen Hurts got the same amount of Super Bowl victories as Aaron Rodgers. And they still think Aaron Rodgers is one of the best to ever do it. What else you want to see? What else you want to see? So, hey, man, let them take who they want to take. People get into them conversations and they don't have a clue. And I mean this. They don't have a clue of the dynamics it takes to field a team like this. Because everybody don't get along. Everybody, at some point, people get on each other's nerves. All of that type of stuff, man. All of that type of stuff. And people don't understand how difficult it can be to keep a locker room together with all of the different personalities and skill levels and all of that type of stuff. I saw Let me see if I can find that. It was an Adidas commercial, and it was the high school kids, and there was one dude like he was the captain, and he was yelling in everybody's ear, trying to pump them up. Um, and the first thing I thought of was, let me see, this is the one. This is it. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. You got this. Is this the one? The dude was on the football. There, this is it. The dude in the blue. So he was yelling and hyping him up, and the first thing I thought of was, is it more to it? There we go. Embrace it. You're here for a reason, baby. You are here for a reason, baby. That right there. The first thing I thought of when I saw that, I was like, everybody don't respond to that. Everybody don't like the rah-rah guy. Everybody don't like the dude that always have something to say. You got to have a balance with it. That's why it was such a big deal when CJ Gardner-Johnson stood up, got that video when he broke down practice and he had his little speech at the end of practice. The reason why that was such a big deal is because usually he don't do that. Jalen breaks it down. He's the captain, short, sweet, to the point. Keep it tight. Let's go. Because he told you, I talk a lot of shit, but I back it up. And that had to come from him. But if he was the type of dude where every time he always want to get a speech, he always got to have something to say, you get tired of that. So like when I see that kid in that commercial and he in somebody's ear, like how the hell you grabbing somebody's helmet like that? You ain't the coach. Get off me. People don't respond to that well. I didn't think that was a good look for that ad. Because most kids and most people in college, they don't respond to that. I don't want that rah-rah dude. Nah, man. Let me see it on the field. I'm like that because I was never a rah-rah guy. I was never the boisterous guy. I didn't really say much. I'm gonna run your ass over, but I ain't really say much when I was on the field. I wasn't a shit talker. Somebody would say something to me, especially when I'm a running back and I'm on the bottom of the pile and folks is spitting on you and trying to stick a finger in your eye, and you got dirty gloves and they trying to stick them in your lips and under your nose and all of that type of nonsense that goes on when you at the bottom of a pile. I was never a shit talker. I would get up, look at them. I was like, all right, I got you. I got you. And I used to always say this. I was like, assholes and elbows, because that's all you going to see of me. Because that means you behind me. I was that good, but I ain't never talk shit. Man, I averaged 6.7 yards a carry in college, bro. I could tote that rock. Never talk shit, though. I didn't have to. And when you get to all of them rah-rah guys and always want to be hyped, and it's like, at the end of the day, sometimes people are like, man, calm it down, bro. Just tone it down, man. I ain't in the mood. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. And I'm saying all that to say, when you got people like that on your team, you got to have a balance. And we had a great balance of You can uh-oh. There we go. Mute it back on. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Am I back on now? I saw my button pop up. Hit me with a thumbs up if my sound's back on. There we go. But everybody could call. You can call them what you want to call them. Running quarterback. Um, I mean, if you don't want to consider him elite, that's your business. I'm not looking for the approval of everybody. I don't need it. I don't need it, man. And people they trip off of that, man. They want their logic to win. They want their logic to, I don't know. They just don't want the conversation. They just want to be right, period. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Now, everybody's been talking about the dynasty thing. Are the Eagles a dynasty now? No. Are they set up where they could be in a position to get there? Yes. But even that depends on what they do next year, because we're gonna have a new roster of coaches again. We're gonna have a new offensive coordinator again. This will be Jalen Hurts' 11th offensive coordinator since he was a freshman in college. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. He won a Super Bowl. Let me say that again. He won a Super Bowl. And this dude changes offensive coordinators like you changing clothes, man. So again, I gotta give it to Jalen Hurts and his mental, because to be able to understand and readjust to the different philosophies and what coaches expect out of you, that's a supremely difficult task, and he don't get enough credit for doing that and taking on that. That is difficult to do. So yeah, man, he went up against Lamar and won. He went up against Stafford and won. He went up against Josh Allen and won. What else do you need to see? And he went up against Mahomes and outplayed him twice in the biggest game of the year. Biggest game of the year. So you can call him what you want. I'm not fighting that battle no more. I don't care. We got the ring. Call him what you want, but you will call him a champion. Now, if all of these people gonna come up with all of these reasons why he shouldn't have, and then we can have another conversation, because that's just BS. But so we'll see. I'm with you, Stewart, Eagle Stewart. We got to keep Zach Bond. To me, Zach Bond is priority number one, and honestly, priority number two is Mekhi Becton. That's my opinion. Lane Johnson is going to be back another year. Mekhi Becton will be back, and he'll be even better than he was this year, because now he got a whole year playing guard under his belt when he's been a tackle. This is his first year playing guard, y'all. So now we get the 6'7" guard with Stout for 2 years. I'll take it all day. I don't mind putting Tyler Steen up for trade bait, or keep him for another year if possible, because he's a good backup. And I think we are in a situation where people want to take less money to stay in Philly, because the opportunity to win is always there. I can see the Philadelphia Eagles making it to the playoffs for the foreseeable future, for the next 4 to 5 years. And not for nothing, as bad as we looked last year towards the end of the year, we still made the playoffs. Nick Sirianni has made the playoffs every year he's been the head coach. You can't say it's fluky no more. You can't. He's been to the Super Bowl twice. Twice. And he got a chip. It's not a fluke. The dude knows what he's doing. Most people don't really understand or know about Mount Union. Nick Sirianni, that joker won 3 national championships. 3. You know how hard that is? I don't care what level you at. A chip is a chip. So at least he knows how to win. This team is loaded. We need to get somebody like Garrett. He will be crazy. Have a crazy season like 22 sacks when they double team Jalen at all times. Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting situation because how old is Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett is 31. Basically, he's the same situation that Hassan Reddick is in. But I think Myles Garrett is a much better player. And Hassan Reddick wasn't chopped liver by any stretch. So I think Howie's going to do his due diligence, do his homework, and he's going to make a run for him. But we got the secret sauce now because we are in line to make a good run in the playoffs again. Now the concern I have going into next year, who's going to be calling the plays? And are they going to be able to have the success like Kellen Moore had? Are they going to continue to feed Saquon and mix it up and like do what we did this year? Because there's a lot of room to improve with our passing game. But our passing game has to come from our play action. And I don't even want to get into my rant about running Saquon outside. So, yeah, Big Daddy. Bond is number one. Number one. I haven't heard anything about Slay, Eagle Stewart. I know he talked about it. He's been kind of talking about both sides because I know they had that one interview at his locker where he said he was thinking about, he want to be home with the kids and all that type of stuff. But when you play at the Slay is a freak. Slay is a unicorn, man. Slay, I'm putting Slay in that Ed Reed territory. And I'm saying that he got a Super Bowl win. He's been to the big game twice. Ed Reed got 1 or 2 championships. Highlight Super Bowl. Yep, he got 1. Ed Reed got 1. So Slay's in that, to me, Slay's in that type of, for him to be playing as well as he was playing this year at 34 years old, man, that don't make no damn sense. And I had my issues with Slay last year because everybody on that defense was making business decisions. Wasn't nobody tackling. And Slay was one of the main culprits. And he got called on the carpet when he got into that thing with Seth. And I was like, bruh, that he is not the one. The tape tells otherwise, but that's water under the bridge. But Slay, to be as fast as he is at 34, to be able to play how he's playing at 34 is off the chain, man. Off the chain. Yeah, Sirianni was a problem, man. I got to go back and find my matter of fact, I might get him back on my podcast again. A buddy of mine, his name is Jim Ballard. He was my quarterback when I was in the World League in Scotland. He was the quarterback when we won the chip. And then he coached Sirianni at Mount Union. He was a quarterback's coach. So, quarterbacks, receivers, all that type of stuff. So when I remember he was on my show when we hired Sirianni. And after the whole thing with the first press conference and the flowers and all that kind of stuff, he said it. He said it. He said, man, he's like, forget all of that stuff, man. He's like, just watch what this dude does. He said, I'm telling you, He said, I'm telling you. He said, just watch. Watch and see. He was right. He was 100% right. He was like, he said, no, he didn't have the best first impression, but he said, I'm telling you, he said, this dude knows how to win. He called it. He called it. But nobody wanted to believe him because that first impression, that first media conference or whatever was just god awful. But I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Miles Garrett is 29. Is he 29 going on 30, or is he 28 just turned 29? So, but I'll take chances on that. I'll take chances on that. I agree. I agree. I'm hoping Mitt Williams can stay, but Ojomo is right behind him, and Ojomo is pretty good. Bring back Frank Wright. We'll see. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. I agree with that, Big Daddy. If Sweat leaves, but see, Sweat kind of gave him the hometown discount though. And Sweat is one of them dudes. Sweat understands. Sweat understands where he is and what we are about. So Sweat don't want to mess up the apple cart because he don't want to. Don't nobody want to go to a loser now. After you have been a part of a winner, you do not want to go to a losing team. Why you think Garrett trying to get the hell up out of Cleveland? Isaiah Rodgers does not do as well as Slay. I agree. I like Isaiah Rodgers, but he needs some more seasoning. I feel like this offense should be even better next season as long as we don't get injuries with somebody. Injuries are always a factor. Every team is one play away from glory or ruin with the injury. So I agree with you on that one. Whoever they bring in that's going to call the plays, they just got to understand. I think we left some meat on the bone with play action. I'll just leave it at that. Jalen has shown you that he can read a defense and call the right plays and get people open. He showed you he can do that. Now we got to take advantage of it because I honestly don't think that Kellen Moore took advantage of it. I think our play action game plans were weak. We run too much play action out of gun formation. And even when you look at what we did in the Super Bowl, that came from running play action out of pistol, not out of gun. Yeah, Reddick left us and went to the Jets, man. He went for his money. I don't get mad at him for that. I don't get mad at him for that. Hassan Reddick left the same way that C.J. Gardner-Johnson left. C.J. Gardner-Johnson led the league in interceptions. So he went for his payday, and he gambled and he lost. Hassan Reddick was doing the same thing. He should have been Defensive Player of the year before, and just didn't, it didn't work out his way. But I don't mind him for gambling because he earned it. He earned his bag. He earned it. C.J. Gardner-Johnson just went to the wrong place. I feel like this often should be much better long as we don't get a ton of injuries, key position. Yeah, that's the injuries thing. We did pretty good with the injuries because we were 1 inch, literally 1 inch away from this being a total disaster. And I'm looking specifically at that LA game in the snow. When Jalen got bent up, if his knee is an inch to the left or to the right, it's a whole different set of circumstances. I believe he gets a tear, and just that was ugly. And it could have been a hell of a lot worse. So we were inches away from disaster. That got better towards the end of the year. Definitely need a much better passing game when passing the ball, not long ass routes. Yeah, that definitely got better towards the end of the season. So No, Hassan Reddick's not coming back because he's still signed with the Jets. I don't know what the Jets are going to do because they got a new coach. They got a defensive coach too, so they'll figure out a way to use him because he's not a bad player. Yeah, look at the Lions. Lions is the perfect example, man. You got to stay healthy. If we can keep CP, keep Clint hurt, definitely want to keep Clint hurt. Jamal Singleton and pick Frank Reich as OC. Will be back. Hey, I like that, man. I like that. I like that. I wouldn't mind seeing Frank Reich back. I think Big Clint Hurt needs to be protected because he's somebody that can speak Jalen Carter's language. And Jalen Carter being volatile the way he is this young, you need a veteran. You need a former player in his ear. And that's what Clint Hurt is. You need somebody that Clint Hurt looked like he was kind of a hothead at one time. So Clint Hurt can speak his language. Coaching matters, man. Coaching matters. So I'm with you on that one. Well, they can. I mean, you talking about Sweat? You talking about and Sweat and Milt Williams? That's going to be the interesting thing because if they can make a play for Myles Garrett, they are going to make that play. So something's going to happen. Then we'll see. Because I think Milt Williams is going to be the one that's about to get the payday. Because Milt Williams had a hell of a year, and somebody going to pay him a lot of money. So I'm interested to see if he takes the bag or does he elect to stay. But he's probably, I mean, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. Milt Williams is going to get paid. I think Sweat is the one that's going to end up staying. But we'll see. I was hearing a lot about that. I think they trade McKee because I think McKee has a little bit better upside than Kenny Pickett. Although Kenny Pickett didn't look bad, man. People forget Kenny Pickett. Before Kenny Pickett got out of Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett had a winning record as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. Winning record. Everybody can't say that, regardless of what the team is. So I think Tanner McKee would be the trade bait. But Kenny Pickett, he's a veteran. He started some games. I mean, let's be real. Gardner Minshew got a starting job. And all of that posturing that he used to do and walking into folks' office and giving him a chance to start, he got a chance to start, and you saw what he was. That's why you a backup, bro. That's why you a backup. Kenny Pickett, you get him with the right offensive coordinator. Again, coaching matters. They fired his OC in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I think it's kind of looking that way. You know, anything can happen, but it's kind of looking that way. Yeah, our secondary is tight. Our secondary ain't going nowhere. I would love to see Slay come back for another year and be in that same role like Bradbury was this year. Almost like a player coach, but shit, man, the way Slay was playing, let him play. Slay was balling, man. Yeah, we got some good ones now, though. Got some good ones now. I think there might be a market for Tanner McKee because he's so big, and they like that pocket quarterback that can't run. And that's exactly what Tanner McKee is. If we don't make a trade, I want to see the Eagles draft some offensive linemen, but don't reach. Whoever offensive lineman, as long as we got Stoutland, we good. We good. I could see Howie trading a draft pick to get Myles Garrett. I can see him doing that. This is Howie season right now. He's the Wizard of Philadelphia. If anybody can make something happen right now, even with that bear can't cut on his head, Howie gonna make it happen. He gonna make it happen. So it's so weird seeing the Eagles with great corners. Yeah. Once again, Howie season. Howie season, man. So this is what he does best. and it's gonna ramp up. I got to get my boy Ian Cummings on the show again because we in draft season right now. Everybody getting ready for the combine and getting ready for the draft and see, it's going to be a lot of moving and shaking because you got a lot of free agents and people want to sign and pick up some good players. Washington's trying to make moves. Cowboys done put their neck in the noose now. Cowboys told everybody they was close to us. So now they neck in the noose. And they got to get past Washington first. Washington it's going to be the Eagles and the Commanders for the next couple years. It's going to be them two teams. So the Giants, I don't see nothing happening with them no time soon until they get an offensive line. And Dallas is just Dallas. Dallas still living out of the past and them VHS tapes. I want to see Zach Bond and Becton stay. That's what I want to see. Becton earned it. And Becton strikes me as the type of person that understands where he is in his role and could possibly take less money. I could be totally wrong, but that's just what it seems like to me. With Howie calling the shots, absolutely. Yes, Micah Parsons could come here. He very well could come here. Micah Parsons played with Saquon, so they teammates. So I could definitely see that. So I don't know. The race is on, man. Myles Garrett wants to go to a winner. Commanders look pretty good this year. So I can see that happening, yeah. Absolutely. So, but also you got to think about this. Look at the last time the Washington Commanders, who did they sign? What was the defensive end? Dude with the braids. I can't remember his name. They signed him 2 years ago and they thought he was going to be good and it didn't work out. Good player, but he didn't pay dividends for him. I think I would rather, I know Parsons is a little bit younger. Parsons would have had a higher price tag though. And Parsons would take too much. He'd be too expensive. So I think Myles Garrett, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to see how this is going to shake down and what Howie's looking for. So we'll see. Chase Young. Thank you, Mike. That's it. Chase Young. You see how that worked out. That wasn't, it didn't work out like Washington had thought. Yeah, Cowboys, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Montez Sweat, that's another one. Yeah. Yeah. Tiffany, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I want to see Becton stay. I want to see Becton with another year with Jeff Stoutland. That's what I want to see. Because Becton will be as good as damn Lane Johnson at guard. We got a 6'7" guard, y'all. That's pulling. Y'all understand the physics that are involved with that happening? It's crazy. I think Parsons want to leave Jerry Jones now. Jerry Jones can't get out of his own way. The best thing Jerry Jones has done in the last 10 years is be on Landman. His part on Landman was fabulous for that little scene that he shot. It was great. Other than that, his football IQ and his football acumen, nah. You just go ahead and pass it on to your son and let your son do some stuff. That part he had on Landman was all about him trying to move and shake so he could work with his kids, and he ain't letting his kids work. You mean to tell me Stephen Jones couldn't have done just a bad a job as Jerry Jones? He couldn't have done any worse. Let him take the reins and let him roll with it. Because what's going to happen is if Jerry Jones passes away, Stephen Jones gets the team, and all of a sudden they get better, and then everybody's going to be saying, should have done that 10, 12 years ago. Yeah, everybody trying to get out of it. They sick of it. They sick of it. Nah, Parsons want to win, man, and he know he ain't winning in Dallas. Yeah, they living off them VHS tapes, man. Them jokers ain't even on DVD yet. They ain't even on DVD yet. So yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I think you know a little admiration, a little jealousy, because we winning in the draft. When we drafted Jalen Carter, he was he was not happy about that. But we just got a better GM than everybody else in the league. So uh, so yeah, we gonna see what happens, man. I'm happy where we are. Um, and we I don't want to talk dynasty, man. I'm like, let's just get back, let's get everybody healthy and see who's calling the shots next year. We'll talk about that if we when we make it to the playoffs next year. Because the only time you're gonna talk about dynasty is if you win two in a row. So I don't want to hear no talk about dynasty right now. You gotta go back to back first. First. So yeah, Eagle Stewart, yeah, Parsons can come here. I just don't think the money's gonna work. I don't think the money's gonna work, bro. I think he's worth too much money. He making 17 a year. So let's say he would have to make anywhere between 15 and 18. And then we got some other places we got to sign too. So I just but again, let me leave that to Howie because he's if anybody can do it, Howie Roseman can do it. So Philly man, I'm not even talking about the Cowboys fans. They so I don't know. Yeah, they talk crazy. They talk crazy. Henry on the cap, but they had their chance to get Henry and didn't want to do it. Jerry trying to save money for whatever reason. They always gunning for us, man. That never changes. That never changes. Everybody, and what does that mean, anyways? That they want to beat us, as opposed to what? They want to beat us anyway. So that's don't get caught up in that fan fiction, man. Don't do that. It's every team wants to beat us, just like we want to beat every team we play against. We two drop passes from being a one loss team. Think about that. Use Bradbury's money to pay Parsons. Well, Bradbury will be gone, so his numbers will be off the books. Um, what are our needs in the draft this season? Um, I think we're gonna have to get another tight end because Dallas Goddard can't stay healthy. Um, they'll probably get a couple more offensive linemen. We still need a true number three, although I would be okay if Jahan Dotson stays and becomes the legit number three. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So um, I don't know. That's a good question. They'll probably bolster up the offensive line again. They'll get somebody to back up Lane Johnson and get his official replacement. Just like, don't be surprised if Lane Johnson picks his own player or calls his own shot, just like Kelsey did. And Kelsey picked right because Cam Jurgens is the truth. So um, it could happen. Jake Elliott, that's a good one. I would think that yeah, they would move on from Jake Elliott, but that's one of those tight ones because it's good until it isn't. Because if the minute you miss something, everybody's like, God, they gotta get rid of him. But how often does he miss? He just went through a bad stretch. I don't. Did he have the yips? I don't know. I don't know. But I think he'll probably come back. Yeah, the only legit loss we had was no, the only legit loss we had was Tampa Bay. Atlanta, we win that game if Saquon catches the ball. Washington, we win that game if Devontae catches the ball. So, in my opinion, the only legit loss that we took was Tampa Bay. So, yeah, I think Jeff saved his job too. I agree. I agree. You want to see him build on the offensive defensive line? I think our offensive line is good. Offensive line is good. Jordan Mailata's not going nowhere, and he's in love with Stoutland. So if he does have the opportunity to get a bag somewhere else, he ain't going nowhere. Dickerson ain't going nowhere. Jurgens ain't going nowhere. I'm Becton is the only wild card. You know, Lane Johnson ain't going nowhere, so Becton is the only wild card that could probably go somewhere else because of the amount of money he gonna make. Somebody will pay him. Somebody will pay him. So there's a lot of other information that has to shake out, especially with the combine coming. We're gonna see what we're gonna see because there'll be a couple of names that come out for the combine that shake everybody up, just like Xavier Worthy did when he runs the 4.12. There'll be a couple of performances that's just going to shake up the draft board. So happens like that all the time. More important, Becton or Williams? For me, it's Milt Williams. I'm sorry, it's Becton. I think Becton um, is the bigger piece. Milt Williams is going to get paid, and we got Ojomo behind him, and we still got Josh Sweat, and we still got draft picks. So, and not for nothing, Jalix Hunt looked pretty damn good. So I think we'll be okay. I just think Milt Williams earned his bag, and he probably gonna go get it. I ain't mad at him. And we'll still keep Josh Sweat, and we'll still, we'll draft somebody, or they'll, maybe they do get Myles Garrett or Parsons or whatever the situation is. Howie will take care of it. Howie will take care of it. I think if Becton resigns, Lane Johnson's not going anywhere. But why would you move him? He was struggling when he was with the Jets at tackle. So why would you keep him at tackle if he showed the aptitude to play guard? Leave him at guard. That's what he's doing the best. Let him do what he do. That's the genius of Stoutland. Leave well enough alone. So we'll see. I don't know. Can he crack the 53? It depends. Because there's a lot of factors in that, mainly how somebody performs and injury. So it's possible. Yep, they were talking about that on the radio the other day. He's is that the dude? Because somebody won 3. Last 3 seasons he's been on winning championship teams. So, but hey, it ain't what you know, it's who you know sometimes. I ain't mad at it. But let him keep talking about the Eagles. I'm about to get up out of here, go get something to eat. The Eagles handle their business. And just remember, while everybody's hating, we shining the rings so they can kiss it. But I'm gonna get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all joining me, man. We rocked for about an hour and almost 20 minutes. So still working with Tone. We trying to figure out what we're gonna do for the Eagles our pregame show. We got to come up with a different spin on it because it's not pregame anymore, but we'll figure out something. But me and Tone will continue to get together. Got some more stuff coming up. Slowly but surely, my WNBA content will be coming back. Also, my NCAA women's, I'm finally getting content out about that. Can't wait for the tournament to get started. And then on top of all of that, we still in Eagle season and draft season and all that type of stuff. So it's gonna be enough to go around, man. It's gonna be enough for everybody to eat, man. So you know the rules. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends about me, man. We're gonna keep this thing going. So I appreciate you guys joining me. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna live stream. I didn't even promote it or anything like that, man. So when I get people that pop in just when they see me live, man, I appreciate you, man. Let's figure out how we can continue to grow this team. All right, y'all have a good night. I will see you on Thursday. Thursday at 9 o'clock will be the next live. I'll probably have some content out tomorrow. I'm working on a thing about Asia Wilson. I'm working on another thing about the Eagles. And I will be efforting to get Brent Selleck back on the show. I'm trying to I got a text confirmed about Dave Spadero. Definitely want to get him on the show and some of the ex-Eagles and Eagles alumni that I connected with at the parade. So we definitely gonna do that too. So I got a lot of good stuff coming out, man. A lot of good stuff coming out. So stay tuned. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. I'm always available. And I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good night. Go get you something to eat. And I will catch y'all on the next one, man. Super Bowl champions. Got to update my background too. I need a Super Bowl champion decal. Go Birds.